Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles The Last Ronin 2 Re-Evolution issue number 3. That's right, folks. It took a minute to get to this because I solely forgot it was coming out. Because this book has a terrible release schedule, and it never feels like it's coming out, and then 2-3 months later, the next issue appears, and then you just immediately forget about it. I don't know why that happens. What's going on with this book? It doesn't feel like anything's really happening. This book really feels like we're setting up something else than opposed to telling the story we're doing now. I'm really bored by it. I am not a fan. I wish I was. I also didn't really like The Last Ronin. I think that concept has been overplayed now, and we're potentially doing a live-action movie and a video game, and I just can't pretend I care. I don't like this direction for the Turtles. I like these new Turtles. I wish they were set in like a different kind of universe than like a Frank Miller ripoff of, The Dark Knight. But whatever. The end of the last issue, if you can remember that far back, it was a whole different world back then. Yi, is it Yi? Yes, it is Yi. She started to electric out and use like an electric force field to like lift up a police car. Well, everyone around her's like, oh, okay, that's crazy. She starts to freak out. She can't really contain it anymore. We then cut to a flashback at a young Yi who's like trying to sleep in the middle of the night, and she like snaps her fingers and makes like electricity. Just can't really sleep. So she's like, that was weird. Gets up to talk to her grandma April, and April's just like, hey kid, can't sleep, here, let me make you some food. And she's like, am I a monster, grandma? And she's like, no, of course you're not a monster. You're my granddaughter, and I love you, and you're a ninja, and you're cool. And, you can be anything you want to be, like your Uncle Donatello. He was a great ninja, but he was also a scientist. If there's something else your heart wants to follow, you should follow it. Thanks, Grandma. That really helped settle my nerves. So then Yi goes back to bed, and they have a nightmare where they think they're a big monster attacking the city like a Godzilla, destroying everything like an electric turtle. It's a fun little story. I like seeing the different interpretations of the turtles as kaiju creatures. It's really fun, but there's not much to it. I get it, it's cool. It looks good. I like the artwork there. But Yi uses her powers well, and she throws the police car away, and then she passes out from exhaustion. And everyone's like, okay, I think it's time to retreat. So they're gonna retreat. Odin manages to control his newfound ability, so he turns into a rock and clears a path for them to get through. They all retreat back to the base, which is kind of exciting, I suppose. I generally don't know. They also took Amanda Connor with them. Still don't know why that's her name. That I find that very specific and a weird inside baseball reference. I don't know why that's the name of this new April O'Neil character. What? A new April O'Neil character? Yeah, April's old now. Casey is now doing a thing over here, so we have to have a new fresh-faced person show up and look at the Turtles and be like, hey, this is weird. We're doing that again. Because as much as we want to escape the shadow of the previous generation of Turtles, we fall into the same, stipulations for what we do in a Ninja Turtle story. So here's a new person to introduce to this world. I wish I was excited by it. I'm just not. Odin and Yi go to the lab with Casey and April to get some results, leaving Moja and Uno to take Amanda to the living room to lay her on a couch or something. We know from the first issue that the Turtles can speak telepathically, so he's still worried that everyone thinks they're monsters, and Owen's like, no, we're okay. Let's ask April if we're monsters. She's like, no, you guys are ninjas. You did good. You protected your family. That's what's awesome. We love it. Odin's learned to control his abilities, and so has Yi, kind of. It was pretty quick. So we got rock and electric. We do a water and fire one with the next two. I don't know. It's whatever. So we then cut to the living room, and Amanda's just asleep on the couch. And the other turtles are like, should we do something about this? Should we take her to a hospital? It's nah, we'll wake her up eventually. Casey comes by to check on her, this is something we can manage. But then she starts to wake up, and she sees Casey and Moja staring at her. And then Uno shows up, oh, she's awake. And she starts to freak out, doing a classic if you're introducing April O'Neil to the Turtles story, where she's like, this isn't happening, what's real, what are you? She's like, whoa, what's going on? And then just like calms down, and then there is some difference in like the ideas here because it is the second generation. So when she sees giant talking turtles, she's like, wait, I've heard of you. I thought you were like a myth. Then we get some like Kevin Eastman art, which is like a flashback. It's like when I was a kid, my dad like says he saw like something when he worked for the city that looked like 4 turtles men or something running around, and they like went to the sewers and stuff. They're all like these rumors and myths about them. They move like ghosts, and they just like went in the shadows and they hunted ninjas. They beat up the bad guys, and then one day they were just gone forever. And, you know, I like that we're not depicting the turtles as, like, the 4 iconic turtles. They are just, what would you think are the 4 turtle men? Well, creatures that look like turtles but have different types of weapons and styles. I think that's pretty cool. I like that we didn't just go, let's just draw the 4 guys again. I appreciate that. Is one of them dressed like Daredevil, another one dressed like Blade? I can't really tell. It's silly, but... one day they were gone, but now they're here. And that's kind of cool. And the Foot Clan died with them too. So you guys are alive. And April's like, no, it's Casey who's like, well, no, that's these ones that we have a picture of on the wall. These are the next generation. She's like, oh, I don't get to meet the giant rat in a kimono. It's like, nah, but here, we'll get you caught up on everything going on. Just take a seat and relax. I mean, yeah, we had to kind of rush through that because we're reading a Ninja Turtle book and we don't need to do the origin again. If you're not reading this if you don't know what happens in a Ninja Turtle book, is what I'm saying. So why do we have to do? It doesn't matter. I know why. It's so Eastman can draw some stuff. It's fine. I genuinely don't care. I don't know what to think of this book. Like, are you satisfied with this? Is this something that is intriguing and working for you? Like, we get another scene, which is April talking to Honeycutt, and they were studying the blood, and what we come to terms with through a lot of fucking words is that this is just the next evolution of the turtles, like, evolution, the re-evolution, if you will. They're going through puberty, and they're gaining new powers because Michelangelo's blood was so tainted, which is what they used the DNA to make these new turtles. I don't know. Sure, if you radiate more mutated blood, this is what happens. They, like, mutate more, and they get, like, powers and stuff. Cool. Suddenly, Honeycutt turns red. He's like, oh, someone's attacking me. I'm under a cyber attack. The malware, everything about me is being attacked. Something bad is happening. So then we cut to Casey, who gets a call from Jiro, and he's like, shit's going down right now. Things are really bad. There's a lot of blood, a lot of death on everybody's side. Like, this isn't going good. You got to get out of wherever you're doing. You got to be safe. Something bad's about to happen. Just watch out for whatever it's going to be. Cut to Mr. Carterton. I, for the life of me, can't remember if we saw him before, but here he is. He's talking to 2 G.I. Joe-ass looking characters, Warriors adjacent street gangs. What are we doing? What are we doing? It's very weird. So who do we have on this team now? The Angels and Saints crews, they're doing a thing. And they're fighting the resistance, but we got the Crusader Knights. That's the guy that's dressed like a knight. And then who's the other guy? The other guy works with the Purple Dragons, but he just looks like Sergeant Stalker from G.I. Joe. And they're talking to Mr. Carterton, and they're like, yeah, we're ready for, like, the next phase. Let's just, like, get this out here, you know? Let's just win the day with some stupid stuff. So the Purple Dragon guy's called Mr. Jigsaw. That's stupid. I don't care. You're shoving a bunch of stuff at me. You're introducing the Crusader Knights, and I think that is kind of funny. Like, sitting to think about it, like, what do you use to fight ninjas? Obviously, knights, right? That's funny, right? I don't know. So, look, Mr. Carterton, he has a big plan in place. He's going to get all the other gangs of New York together, and they're going to take down the resistance. They're all going to team up. They're going to go everywhere. They're even going to go to the tunnels and the sewers, and we see Mr. Jigsaw, like, taking a team. They're the Purple Dragons, but for the life of me, if you said they're G.I. Joe villains, I'd believe you. They're going to go under the sewers and, like, attack things from within. And everyone starts freaking out that things are going bad. Casey's like, I'm not sure what's going on. They're in the tunnels. They're going to blow some shit up. There's a big explosion. The kids are starting to freak out. And Honeycutt's like, this isn't going to work, April. We got to go to the next plan. We have to flee is essentially what's going to happen. We got to get out of here. Are you telling me we're going to like set up again? Are you like, I don't know where the next issue's going, but this is essentially in the early issues of Ninja Turtles when they're attacked by the Foot Clan at April's apartment antique store. And they have to flee to the countries to like figure themselves out again. Are we really doing that again, but this time with like more complicated bullshit and uglier characters? Is that really what we're doing? So April says goodbye to Honeycutt, and she's like, all right, this is it. This is the April O'Neil Jones on the Resistance Emergency Frequency. Initiate Rally Point Teddy Bear Protocol. And they're like, oh, damn it. And everyone's like, shit. Oh, well, it looks like we're out of here. We gotta go. And a bunch of characters you either know or don't know be like, damn, something's happening. Shit. So they initiated Teddy Bear Protocol. What does that mean? It means they gotta get out of there because April is flooding the sewers or something. So she sends like a big flood to come down through the tunnels, floods all the G.I. Joe knockoffs, and the Turtles with April and Casey and Amanda, they get in their big dump truck looking turtle shell machine, and they got to get out of there. Where are they going? Somewhere else. It ain't going to be pretty, but they're getting out of there. And that's where the book ends. We get like a tease for the next issue, and it looks like they flooded the streets of New York. Okay. What are we doing? I genuinely don't know where this book is going to go half the time. And none of it's that compelling. Like, I think it's consistently good artwork, and I like the designs, and it's fun, but there's a lot of words to say very little, and I just don't find any of this truly compelling or fascinating. It's very obvious, and maybe that's the point, because if you're a fan of The Last Ronin, do you want anything less than the obvious? Look, I'll say this. The Last Ronin is clearly making a point about The Dark Knight Returns. This is easily a better sequel than a lot of the sequels to the Dark Knight Returns world, so that's something. At the very least, that is something. We want to give these turtles more personality, but so far all we got is that he thinks she's a monster, and the big guy has a cat. I don't know. I hope it gets better. But I just don't know. We'll probably be back in 2025 to talk about issue 4. So, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles The Last Ronin 2 Re-Evolution, issue number 3. I am going to give a 5 out of 10. Now, thank you all for watching this review. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. As always, you can check me out on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. And of course, I will catch you in the next one. Have fun. Stay safe. Good luck.